Hey, lady, how are you?
Good, how are you? I
I'm
did it.
good. I'm good. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see anybody these days face to face.
Right. That's true. That is
I
true.
was just, I was sitting here looking at the video and I was thinking, oh my gosh, my hair looks awful. It keeps getting shaggy and there's nothing I can do about it. So
Just add some purple into it, Trey.
I, I can. Uh, um, so I am so glad you're here. I'm so glad we've been planning this for a couple of weeks. So I'm glad to have you on. And I'm glad we waited because now we get to say congratulations. For those of you that don't know, Livia just got a promotion. She's now an associate at Perkins and Will. So that's super, super exciting. So
Thank you.
congratulations on that.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So let's jump right in.
All
What
right.
was it like day one? When you find out I've got to work from home.
hmm
Not I don't know when I'll be going back into the office. Um, what was that like? And was Perkins and Will? Did you have everything that you needed? To just kind of make that transition.
Yeah, I think we were really fortunate that we just had a big technology upgrade. I think everybody got new laptops by the start of the year. And so we have these really awesome gaming laptops where we're able to run Revit directly on our machine. And
Mm-hmm.
that has been an absolute lifesaver. We haven't slowed down one bit. We're working pretty much just as efficiently as we would be if we were in the office. Obviously, there's you're missing that tapping the person next to you on the shoulder and asking them a quick question. But we're really finding that we were really well prepared for this with our technology, which has been so wonderful because um, not everybody's in the same boat as that. We just had a big technology rollout, but we're relying a lot on Microsoft Teams
Mm-hmm.
and Revit BIM 360 as well. So that's been really helpful to sort of collaborate in the cloud and not
That's
have to rely
amazing.
so much on our home Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah. So you said that they had just rolled out the new laptops. What were you doing before that? Was it more of a cloud-based
Yeah, so
dial-in, or how was that working?
yeah, we basically had like a cloud-based network that we would connect to and access Revit that way. So
Mm-hmm.
what we have now with the gaming laptops is Revit is actually loaded on our machine. So we're cutting out that sort of middleman area and able to connect really quickly and efficiently, even if we're not on our office network.
Nice, nice. So talk to me about the world of interior project management in this new environment. How are you doing?
Well, it's interesting. So it's similar to what it was before, but what I'm finding is um, the human aspect is sort of coming back into project management, where we're not starting calls with, okay, let's take roll and here's today's agenda. We're starting calls with, first of all, how's everybody doing? Is everybody safe? Is everybody feeling well? Is there anything I can do for you? And then we're rolling into the typical project calls or needs of the call. But it's been really nice to sort of um, see everybody at a human level again and no longer
Yeah.
just another number on the line.
Hmm. That's amazing. Do you
So
think
we're just
you
trying to stay connected as much as we can as well. I mean, checking in every day. I mean, I think that's also been another nice thing about this is because we're not in the office and in person, like to stay connected with our team. We're just having daily calls of, hey, how's it going? We might talk for 5 minutes. We might talk for 50 minutes.
yeah, yeah. Gosh, that's great. How do you actually get your job done during the day? Like, how is project management different? You know, how is it different now than it was, let's say, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago?
It's interesting because we're not in person, our days are filling up with calls and video conferences. And it's hard to find that balance of being able to do your work during the day. When you're in the office, maybe you do have time to sort of step away for an hour or two in between meetings and do your work. And I think that for the first couple of weeks, it was really hard to turn it off. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that we owe it to ourselves to set boundaries, even if we are in our home and even if our computer is 20 feet away from us. You know, step away, eat your
Mm-hmm.
lunch, walk your dogs, um, eat dinner, turn it off. It was hard for me to turn it off the first couple of weeks, and then I realized nobody was making me do that but myself. So it's just a different way to be self-disciplined and practice self-care.
That's great. What about going forward? You brought up that we are doing so many calls. Because I'm like you, I'm on back to back video calls. It's nice that before video was kind of a novelty. You sort of turn
Right,
it on, say oh, and then you turn it back off because
right. Oops.
Um, but now I'm finding it like really helpful and
Yeah.
a necessity, right? So going forward, how do you think that's going to affect? I mean, I'm sure that you do day trips and stuff like that to go out to project sites and all this kind of stuff. How do you see it affecting the future?
Well, I think before this, we already started to see technology be introduced into our sort of daily um, tasks where, instead of going to a site visit for a day trip, maybe we have our GCs FaceTime us or something and sort of walk us
Mm-hmm.
through the site. But I think we're going to rely on that even more because, when we go back, it's not going to, everybody's saying it's not going to just go back to normal. We're, we're going to have to change the way we work. And we're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to be more flexible and nimble, and we're going to have to rely on technology just to stay safe and well as we're sort of navigating this new world. So I do see us doing a lot more virtual connection, and it's kind of a nice break. I think it maybe allows us to be more efficient. To instead of doing an hour site visit with me getting on a plane, flying a couple hours, touching down, going to site, getting back to the airport. I'm able to just connect with somebody on site and have a face-to-face conversation and feel like I'm there in person.
That's
And
fantastic.
honestly, maybe it's better for the environment. We've already seen the air qualities in all these large cities like Los Angeles and Paris and New York greatly improve with this. And I think, maybe it's a wake up call that we need to take better care of our planet.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. So now I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. So you're not only a project manager and now an associate, you're also the Georgia chapter IIDA president. So that's like a whole other job in and of itself. Um, how are
Yeah.
you managing leading the board and everything that's going on right now with IIDA?
Well, I mean, I think very similar to our jobs, we're only as good as the people that we're surrounded by, and I'm very fortunate that we have a pretty fantastic board, people who are passionate and wanting
Your
to see.
director of administration is fantastic.
I
He's
mean,
awesome.
right? I mean, yeah, I totally agree. But I mean, it's true though. You have to. I think what we learn in situations like this is you can't do everything on your own. You can't take everything on. You have to be able to delegate. But what I'm finding my role is in this situation is just trying to keep our eye on the prize and the number one goal. And the number one goal is supporting our membership. And
Yeah.
supporting our membership can be something as simple as just checking in on social media, but it could also be coming up with strategies for our upcoming events that we have planned for the fall to make them safe and to make people feel safe to come together and congregate. Things aren't going to be the way that they were last year. They're not going to be the way they were in years past. This is going to be a new world we're living in. So just trying to take a really safe approach to everything and work through things and not make rash decisions. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
want people to feel safe to come back to our events when we're able to re-socialize ourselves, and we want our members to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I was thinking about kind of our conversation yesterday, and you just brought up having to set boundaries for yourself at home, that sort of thing. What, in addition to like setting boundaries and stuff, what's made you successful working from home? Like,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I wasn't great at it at the start. I mean, like I said, I would work too much, but also not efficiently. So what I've been doing is at the end of the day, every day I clean off my desk, which I mean, full disclosure is my dining room table.
Yeah.
But I clean my desk every day, and I come back to a clean desk every morning, and that helps me feel rejuvenated and
Hmm.
refreshed and ready to go. And I set boundaries where I will take my hour lunch break, even if, 20 minutes of that is to walk my dogs around the block. I'm allowing myself to step away and to not have so much screen time like I would in the office when I had face to face meetings versus this virtual world we're living in. But just trying to take better care. I think self care has always been important, but I think we're realizing now that we're confined to our homes that self care is really important,
Really
and
important.
whatever that means to you. I mean, getting up for a conference call or a webinar that you're watching where you're not necessarily engaging in conversation, and having that on your porch or your balcony or in a lounge chair in your living room somewhere different,
Hmm.
changing your scenery up.
What do you think it's going to be like when we go back to the office? You're going to come back to your desk and your work surface. What are you going to take with you back to the office, and maybe what realizations have you had?
So my biggest realization is I don't need all of that real estate. I don't need all of that stuff at my desk. I've been able to survive for, what are we on, week 7? I can't even remember. I've been able to survive this long without it, so I don't need all of that. And I think that we're all gonna sort of channel our inner Mary Kondo and go to our offices and start cleaning up and clearing out, because I think we're gonna realize that we were able to be so nimble and agile at home. Why can't we do
Hmm.
that in the office? And maybe we don't ever go back to a traditional 5 day a week work week. Maybe we work from home a day or two a week, and nobody really sees that as like, oh, she has special circumstances. It's just our way of life now, is that
Hmm.
we're able to sort of work more flexibly and hotel, and we don't need to be at our desk to be working. And I think that's a mindset that maybe our employers don't put in us, but it's a mindset that we personally have, is if I'm not at my desk, I'm not working. I think we're all able to sort of reconcile those feelings now. And so maybe if we are feeling a little sniffle, and maybe it's just, a sinus infection, we feel more empowered to work from home now instead of going into the office, because I think that's our new reality, is we need to take care of ourselves, but we also need to take care of our coworkers.
Yeah, I mean, because now we've proven, right, that we can be productive at home. And what does that say about, what would you say to people who measure their success by their office space? Because that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
I know in my parents' generation and somewhat in my generation too, like, you work your way into bigger cubes, or some people it's a corner office, or some measure of success is real estate. So with that, what are your thoughts about that?
It's really interesting. And I think that I kind of have a hard time with that, because I don't feel like I've ever really felt that way, that if I was going to have the corner desk and that meant I really made it. But I think the way that you really measure success is how people interact with you, and how your coworkers view you. I mean, if your coworkers come to you because they see you as a resource or as a knowledge base, then I mean, that's successful in itself.
Hmm.
If even just one person reaches out to me, whether or not they have an issue with a construction detail, or if they just want to talk because they're having a hard day, to me, that's kind of how I measure success. And one thing I hope that comes out of all of this, and not to say that it's a silver lining, because I think that there's, a lot that our country, our world has been through with this pandemic. But I think that we're going to see an uprise in humanity and empathy again. And I think the world needs that. And I think that, I hope that people kind of move forward with that kind of mindset, to be empathetic human beings, because, you know, we've all been affected by this in some sort of way. Um,
Yeah.
and hopefully people see the value in being a resource to their coworkers, versus that corner office.
Livia, we are about out of time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it.
Thank you for
This was
having me.
fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.